So my name's Sarah. Thanks for joining me today. I finally have my subscription box. Yay! It arrived this morning, and so excuse I'm sat here with wet hair. I had this morning off, and I've been to the gym, and I've had a shower, and I'm getting ready to go to work this afternoon. So I thought I would just unbox this quickly, mostly because I'm impatient and I don't want to wait. So, for anyone who hasn't watched my previous videos on this, I've been thinking of signing up to a subscription box for a while, but I was less keen on the idea of just having no idea what was coming. I really enjoy watching unboxing videos, but I don't always love what's in them, obviously, because what are the chances that you would? And this is the Little Miss So-and-so All Set to Sew subscription box. And in this, you get a bit of choice. So there are two pattern options, a knit and a woven pattern. And then there are multiple fabric options for each pattern. So this month was my first month and I went for the woven pattern. And a fabric that I think will look really nice in that pattern. The thing I think is, one of the things I think is good about this is I can get to a point where I get into a bit of a rut, so I'm just sewing the same, few designs over and over. And I think this will keep me sort of challenging myself a little bit more, but you do have that flexibility because you have a choice between certain things. So, yeah, let's see what we've got. Right. Okay. Oh, this already looks lush. Okay, I'm going to get everything out. And then, is there more stuff there? What is that? Okay. What is this situation? I don't know. Okay. Right, I've emptied the box. We have a lovely little package here in nice tissue paper. Now, the tissue paper I think will be useful because I'm having problems. Anyone who has a Pfaff Ambition sewing machine, the automatic buttonholes have just given up the ghost. They've been fine for I think I've had the machine for 8 months. They went a little bit funny when I was sewing my Vivian coat, which I thought was just because the fabric was so thick. But I was trying to sew buttonholes onto my Callie shirt, which is just in like a viscose. It's all interfaced and everything on the button placket. And initially it just wouldn't do anything. It would do 2 stitches and then beep and stop. And then eventually I was trying to demonstrate that it wouldn't work in a video and it suddenly worked. And I thought, great. But all it did was sort of sew over itself in a straight line for a while. And just leave a massive thick bit of thread stitching in the top front of my button placket. So that's great. But someone's recommended trying to sew with tissue underneath to see if that helps feed it through. So might save some of this tissue paper for that. Anyway, let's see what we've got. Ooh. Oh, this is so cute. Okay, I'm going to start actually, I think, with the pattern. So the patterns this month were both Fibre Mood patterns. There is one, I can't remember the name of it, but it's a sweater dress. But it's sort of like a long sweater dress. And for me, I just didn't think I would make it. I don't think I need a long sweater dress. I'm quite short and I'm quite happy with my Billy, my Tilly and the Buttons Billy pattern. So I just sort of felt like, oh, I don't think I need that pattern. So I went for the woven pattern, which is Harriet. So, as you can see, Harriet is a shirt dress. Now, this is one of the things that's really good about it. So they've printed out, so I've got the actual pattern here in A0 printing. Excuse me. And then I have the instructions printed out as well. I normally don't bother printing out instructions. The first time I had printed out instructions was in the Hey Sew Sister autumn project box. And it is quite nice actually having them printed. I'm just trying to save paper, but no, it's nice. Anyway, some things about the Harriet dress. I had not actually seen this dress before, and there are a couple of things about it which would have meant that I might have avoided picking it initially, but actually the more I looked through the pictures, the more I thought it was really nice. So the main thing that would put me off if I was just browsing for patterns myself is it has a dropped waist. So here's the line drawing. So it has this like dropped waist, Pockets, obviously the pockets are optional. It's basically just a shirt dress, but with a dropped waist and then a bit of a gathered skirt. And so this silhouette I probably wouldn't wear because I'm quite short, I'm quite top heavy. A dropped waist just does not suit me. I need nipping in at the waist. And I think things suit me best when they sit sort of at my natural waist. So my immediate response, if I was just browsing the website, would have been like, no, not for me. But actually, when I looked at the different versions, so in this booklet, there's only the one picture on the front cover. Let me show you that again. But with the tie at the waist, it actually looks really nice, and that obviously totally changes the silhouette. I think the fit of the shirt part isn't so tight that you'd still get the dropped waist effect really if you tied the waist in. So I think you'd get it'll be like, it will flare out a little bit from the waist, and then you obviously have the extra volume of the gathered part at the bottom of the skirt. So yeah, so I'm excited to give that a go. Actually, I've only made one Fibre Mood pattern before. No, I lie, I've made two. One of them, I can't even remember what the pattern's called, but it's just a woven t-shirt, which didn't turn out, just wasn't a great shape on me, and I used viscose that slipped everywhere, and I've not been sewing very long. But I also made, I think it's called the Norma blouse, which is a bit like the what's that blouse that everyone's making, the Anthea Allen one. There's one that everyone's making, Andrea blouse or something, is it? Anyway, so it's got sort of like a V, and it's like a nice sort of not too fitted blouse, and then it's got like these nice bigger sleeves. One of my early projects was one of those, which I really liked. I have a better understanding of how to pick my size now. So yeah, so I'm hopeful for this one. I'm excited. It has, yeah, so that's all of the instructions printed out. Lovely jubbly. So I can't wait to do that. Now, I'm going to show you the other bits, and then I'm going to show you the fabric. So they send you, I think everything you need to make the project. So my sewing gift is, it looks like a little, it's a little needlepoint kit. How sweet is that? So it's like a little cactus. Oh, sorry, the light's reflecting really badly. There we go. It's like a little cactus needlepoint kit. So you have the threads. It's obviously printed onto the sort of, what do you call that? Like mesh fabric. I'm excited. I've actually not done needlepoint before. And I'm trying to find things that are sort of more mobile. Like my faff machine is very heavy. It's a lot to bring it everywhere, you know. So I'm trying to find things where I can feel like I can be crafty, but on the move. So obviously I'm just in the process of finishing off my Christmas embroidery, which is coming along slowly but surely now that I have all the right thread. But I'll be happy to try some needlepoint as well. That's a really, really lovely little gift. And then, so there's my fabric and my interfacing. And then I'll show you some of the little notions as well. So you'll get a bit of a clue about my fabric from the thread. So that's just some Gutermann thread. I always think there's an umlaut over the U, so I guess it's Gutermann thread, in colour 130. Lovely. And some little buttons. So these are some white, let me put this, oh yeah, they look nice. Some white shirt buttons, very nice. So there are how many of those? Oh, quite a lot. I'll get those out, hang on. How many shirt buttons have I got? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 16 of the little shirt buttons. Lovely. Some interfacing. Here we go. Lovely. I always need more interfacing. And you know what? I always get it, and then I forget. You know, some interfacing is good and some is less good, and I get annoyed because I'll get some of the good stuff and I can never remember where I bought it from. So yeah, so that's just note down, if you get good interfacing, note where it's from. Now, finally, the fabric. Now, this is a Lady McElroy print, and I've sort of been eyeing this up in various colourways over the years, but I've just never bought it. And my first time actually seeing this print in person was when I did the Tilly shoot for Lyra, and one of the samples that I wore was made up in this, in the sort of black and white colourway. That I think was a viscose. This is a cotton lawn, and it is dotty about dots. Now I think it's going to make the camera go a little bit funny. Here we go. It's a nice, I think the shade is claret. So it's sort of like a deep, dark purple colour. I think one of the reasons I haven't bought this fabric before is just because I have a lot of viscose, and I like sort of a lot of the viscose I buy now is stuff that has really original prints on it, because I do find that the selection of prints available on viscose is often pretty good. But it's just a bit of a pain to work with. Whereas when I saw, so they had some much bolder prints, but I thought like this with a cotton lawn would actually be really nice, and the print isn't overly complicated. I feel like it'd be wearable for work. I also think I could wear it, so we're going to Paris in March for my birthday, and I just sort of thought like, oh, it could be like a sort of chic day dress, I thought. So yeah, so that's why I picked it, and the quality feels so lovely, like really, really smooth. I always love Lady McElroy prints. I just think they're yeah, I just think they have such a nice selection and good colours, and the quality of the fabric's always nice. So yeah, that's great. And then there's this, which is just the padding, but it's quite nice and cozy. Maybe I can, I don't know, I feel like I can insulate something with that. So yeah, so I'm really pleased with my first box. I need to get this in the wash. I'm up to date actually on all of my fabrics, pre-washing and stocking them. I think I mentioned to a few of you about this refugee centre in Guildford that do sewing classes, and they're coming on Friday to collect a load of fabric. So I went through all of my stash at the weekend, and I made a note of it all. I took pictures of it all. So when I am being organised, I'm going to get onto Stash Hub and upload everything. I measured the length, so everything is noted. I have about 4 bags of fabric to send to the refugee centre. I mean, my stash is ridiculous, to be honest, but it was quite good because I think previously especially in the first sort of 6 months, I bought a lot of stuff that I ended up not using. And the biggest culprit for me was the Rainbow Fabrics hauls. I would totally buy into them. And then it would be like every time they had a release, I would get loads of stuff because it was so cheap. And I've sort of broken that habit now, so I haven't bought anything from them in a little while. I just bought something for the first time in a few months this Friday, I think it was, when they released some of their Valentine's collection. And that was, they had different organza. So in, I think they had it in red, black, and like an ivory colour. And they had little sort of jacquard hearts, like I think it was velvet hearts in the organza. And I bought it in black because I would like to make a wilder gown. But I've been looking for fabric that's sort of like a bit see-through. Obviously, we'll wear a slip underneath. I'm not that crazy. But yeah, so I ordered that the other day, but I was much more mindful about like, I'm buying this with a project in mind. Whereas old Sarah would just be like, oh, it's so cheap. And I'd get so much stuff, and so much of it's just sat. And I was looking at it like, realistically, a lot of this stuff I'm not going to use. Like even there's even stuff I like, but I'm thinking, I don't really know what to make with this. I may as well send it off. So there's only one thing that I've had second thoughts on, which was a big bit of light green cotton that I was going to give away, but then I thought it's probably quite good for toiling. That was given to me by somebody, someone who was trying to empty out a load of fabric in their house. So I'm going to keep that to make some toiles of new patterns with. But yeah, so I feel like I've been getting a bit organised, and I've rotated some fabrics. I'll put a little pile here of when I was going through my stash, I basically rotated. So now all of my winter fabrics are at the bottom of my trunk that has all the fabric in. My summer fabrics are at the top, and then the fabrics that I'm likely to use in the next couple of months are out. So here's a little picture of the pile of fabrics that I have out. I will be adding to that this, and I will also be adding the organza when it comes. Yeah, and the thing is, I probably won't get through all of that before I switch to summer stuff, but I just like to have a selection I can see, and then it can sort of inspire me to make what I want to make. So yeah, so I've not done loads of sewing this week. I'm working on my dress for my collab with Adele. which is the Zero Waste Tier Dress by Birgitta Helmersson. I've just got to put the sleeves on that, and that one's done. And I am fighting with my machine to get the buttonholes in for my Callie. And then I've been doing a couple of little fixing bits for other projects. So I made this blue velvet dress before Christmas, and I really like it, but the elastic in the arm bands is, or the shoulder, I don't know what you call it, like the shoulder straps, it's just not strong enough, so the weight of the dress is really pulling them down. So I'm just trying to work on some different options of how I can remedy that without having to pull everything apart. So yes, I've been doing little bits and bobs, but yeah, that's it for me this week. So I'm really excited to have this. My plan is to wait until next month when I get the next box and show you my finished dress then. So you'll get to see, this may not work out. I don't know if I've been realistic about times here, but my plan is that I will do my February unboxing, and at the same time I will show you my finished garment from my January box. So let's see how that goes, shall we, guys? Thanks for tuning in. Have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you next week. All right, thanks so much. Bye.